Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our news for today. President Bashar al-Assad today issued Decree 255 appointing Ma'an Salah ad-Din Ali as the governor of Al-Qunaitira. President al-Assad also issued Decree 256 appointing Talal al-Barazi as the governor of Homs. An armed terrorist group today assassinated the Syrian political analyst, head of the political department and international relations at the Global Arab Expatriates Organization, Mohammed Dirar Jammo, in front of his house in As-Sarafan town in Zahrani province in South Lebanon. The armed terrorists set an ambush to Jammo near his house, opening heavy fire at him, causing his immediate death. The terrorists fled away at once. The deceased was known for his patriotic stand in disclosing the lies and hypocrisy of the terrorists and their barbarism and ugly extremism. Their crime will not silence the voice of the truth in defense of the homeland against the forces of terrorism. The regional leadership of Al-Ba'ath Arab Socialist Party issued a statement which condemned the assassination of political activist Dr. Mohammed Dirar Jammo. The statement pointed out that Syrian intellectuals were targeted by Takfiri groups over the last 2 years because of their national stands in supporting their homeland. The statement added that the crime is a terrorist act whose perpetrators must be apprehended and brought to justice. The Minister of Information also stressed in a statement that the assassination of Dr. Mohammed Dirar Jammo is an ugly crime that reflects the hatred engulfing the culture of the extremist groups who cannot tolerate any different viewpoint, and reveals the extent of their involvement in the conspiracy against Arabism, the homeland and mankind. The statement added that the assassination of colleague Jammo affirms once more that those forces of barbarism do not understand the logic of dialogue or the language of politics and political work, and have no respect for human existence and the deep meanings of such existence. The Minister of Information strongly condemns this ugly crime and holds the extremist dark forces fully responsible, legally, morally and politically, for this crime, and calls on the Lebanese authorities to conduct investigation into the crime, to identify its perpetrators and those who stand behind them, and refer them to trial in order to get the punishment they deserve. In Latakia, army units targeted Jabhat al-Nusra terrorists in the villages of Rabia, Sami al-Kirit and Khan al-Jaws, killing and wounding large numbers of them. The army also destroyed 6 cars equipped with Doshka machine guns and a vehicle loaded with explosives. Among the terrorists killed was Abdullah al-Sayyad, nicknamed Abu Rudaina al-Saraqibi, and the Libyan terrorist nicknamed Abu Abdurrahman. Another terrorist was wounded and transported by an ambulance into the Turkish territories. In Homs, army units continued to chase terrorist groups in Al-Khalidiyya neighborhood affiliated with Jabhat al-Nusra terrorist organization. In Idlib countryside, a military source confirmed that an army unit intercepted a terrorist group which tried to attack a military point near the brick factory and inflicted heavy losses upon them. The source added that all the members of the attacking group were killed or wounded. The army destroyed their vehicles equipped with machine guns in Adana, Samos, Der Sumbul, Khan Subul, Al-Bara, Eblin, Mreyyan and Has, killing and wounding dozens of them. During a Security Council session, United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees Antonio Guterres called on the international community to take necessary measures to stop the spread of the crisis in Syria into neighboring countries, warning that the crimes committed by the armed terrorist groups in Syria might ignite the whole region. Also, Lebanese ambassador to the United Nations Nawaf Salam warned against the infiltration of the terrorists across the border between Syria and Lebanon.
The danger that the Syria conflict could ignite the whole region is not an empty warning. Measures must be taken now to mitigate the enormous risks of spillover and to support the stability of Syria's neighbors so as to keep the situation from escalating into a political, security and humanitarian crisis that would move far beyond the international capacity to respond.
Potential dangers are unfortunately now turning into actual realities. Increasing cross-border fire and incursions from Syria into Lebanon are threatening the security and stability of my country.
Golan prisoner Imad Sami al-Mra'i has been released after several months of detention by the Israeli occupation authorities. He was accorded a warm welcome by the inhabitants of the town of Majd al-Shams at Sultan Pasha al-Atrash Square. They renewed the pledge of allegiance to the motherland Syria and their determination to continue the struggle till the end of occupation. Iranian President Hassan Rouhani stressed that the Israeli entity is incapable of launching a military aggression against Iran, describing the Israeli threats as being laughable. President Rouhani pointed out that the threats issued by Israeli Prime Minister can be described as ridiculous, adding that the Iranian people will retaliate against any aggression. It's to be noted that Netanyahu has said during a TV interview that Israel might interfere militarily against the Iranian nuclear program. Finally, an Egyptian officer and 5 Egyptian soldiers were injured in an attack by armed terrorists on 3 security checkpoints in Rafah, north of Sinai. This confrontation between the Egyptian army and the armed men followed an unsuccessful assassination attempt to which the commander of the Second Army, Major General Ahmad Wasfi, was exposed to, which caused the armed forces to intensify efforts to pursue elements suspected of committing acts of violence against army and police checkpoints. 2 bombs were also found by the security forces inside a Sadat subway station in the capital. The incident was the first of its kind since the eruption of violence in Cairo. With this, we end our news for today. Thank you for watching. For more details about Syria and the region and to view this bulletin again, you can always visit our website in English, syriaonline.sy. Now to latest business and market news with Vani Genjian, but after a short break.
Good afternoon. The Ministry of Industry accomplished the project of the Legislative Act to establish a technical center for textile to develop its industries and production, and to enhance competitiveness by putting new strategies to face the needs and the increasing demands of the companies, asserting that this center, along with new labs, would enable the granting international licenses to carry out studies and tests. The Central Bank of Syria concluded its meeting with the exchange companies that sold the dollar at the price of 227 Syrian pounds, which is going to be sold to citizens at the price of 230 Syrian pounds. The selling started as soon as the meeting ended. The governor of the Central Bank of Syria pointed out that the bank has supported the private and public imports, stressing that the highest exchange price regarding public imports was 130 Syrian pounds. The central bank interfered 3 times this week to prevent the rise of the dollar sharply. Brent futures slipped below $108 a barrel, as investors were reluctant to lock in fresh positions, awaiting more clarity from Federal Chairman on the U.S. Central Bank's plan to roll back its monetary stimulus. European stock index futures pointed to a slightly higher open, with more encouraging reports from the big companies that help to soothe nerves over earnings season as it picks up in earnest. Japan's Nikkei share average edged up to an 8-week closing high as investors hesitated in taking large positions before key events today. Gold eased but stayed near a 3-week high, ahead of keenly awaited congressional testimony by U.S. Federal Reserve Chairman later in the day. The dollar traded near a 3-week low against a basket of currencies, as weakness in global markets while the strong yen soured sentiment. With this, we conclude our news. Thank you for watching and goodbye.